Where we stop.
تستنزف العرب قتلاها اللسان فيها رواه.
Okay, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. وعن عبد الله بن عمرو رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ستكون فتنة تستنزف العرب قتلاها في النار اللسان فيها أشد من وقع السيف. رواه الترمذي وابن ماجه. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, narrating the authority of Abdullah ibn Amr, he said that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that satakunu fitnatun, there will be such a fitna that will take place. Remember, we discussed in the chapter of all the tests and the trials and tribulations that will be set this ummah. And we mentioned to you before, it started in the time of Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu, because the Khilafat of Abu Bakr, Umar was stable. And the first part of the Khilafat of Umar was, as Uthman was also stable, was more or less in the middle of the Khilafat of Hazrat Uthman where the problem started. So from that time, you can say the fitan started, that's when the challenges and the test started. So here in this hadith, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam speaks about another test, a trial, a tribulation that would be said this ummah. So he says there will be such a fitna, such a test, such a trial. ستكون فتنة تستنزف العرب. It will engulf all the Arabs, right? And this test is as such that قتلاها في النار, that all those who die in this test, they will be in the fire of Jahannam. اللسان فيها أشد من وقع السيف, and the tongue in it is worse than the falling of the sword. In other words, even to speak, to verbally get involved in this fitna will be devastating. رواه الترمذي وابن ماجه. Imam al-Tirmidhi and Ibn Majah narrate this particular riwayat. So the first part was said, تستنزف العرب. That's the مفعول عربي, مفعول. So istanzafa yastanzifu means to totally destroy something, to totally uproot something. So the first thing we learn about this fitna that Nabi Sallallahu is saying is that it will have a devastating effect on the Arabs. It will have a devastating effect on the Arabs. It will have serious consequences for them. Then he says, قتلها في النار. قتلها means مقتولين. So what this is saying here is that those who are killed in it, they will be in the fire of Jahannam. So from this, you learn that whoever was involved in this fitna, in this trial, in this tribulation, they were not fighting for haqq. They were not fighting for haqq. They were not fighting for a'lai kalimatillah. Because if they were fighting for a'lai kalimatillah, they were fighting for the right reasons, then they wouldn't be doomed to the fire of Jahannam. So they will probably fight this particular fitna. They will be fighting for their own purposes. They will have their own agendas. That is why it comes further on to say that this cannot be referring to the mushajarat Sahaba, the differences that happened between the Sahaba. Because remember, we said that the differences that happened between the Sahaba Ikram, that was based upon haqq. When Ali fought with Muawiyah, Muawiyah fought with Ali. When Muawiyah radiallahu ta'ala had his battle of Jamal with Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala, all of that was based upon haqq. Each one wanted to make a'lai kalimatillah. They felt that they needed to establish the deen. But this here shows you that now these people were not ready to establish the deen. They were doing it for some other ulterior motive. That's what I'm saying. So Just by saying this, say, "Qatlaha fin nari," shows that it cannot be referred to the Sahaba because the Sahaba Ikram are mahfuz. Mahfuz, one is ma'asum. Remember, ma'asum means to be divinely protected from sin. Mahfuz, our belief with the Sahaba, with regards to the Sahaba Ikram, is they are mahfuz. Our belief with regards to the Sahaba Ikram are they mahfuz. Mahfuz means, doesn't mean that they can't commit sin. They can commit sin. They're not divinely protected from sin like the Anbiya. Mahfuz means they can commit sin, but Allah Ta'ala has already promised them forgiveness. Allah Ta'ala has already promised them Jannah radiyallahu anhum wa radu anhu. So that cannot be something that referred to the Sahaba Ikram because here these people will go to Jahannam and Sahaba Ikram has already been promised Jahannam. So this is a fitna that you say would happen long after the Sahaba Ikram. You with me? Then the next part of the hadith, Al-lisanu fiha ashaddu min waqi al-sayfi or min waqa al-sayfi. So this shows you here that this was such a fitna, this was such a test, that there was ta'assub, the asabiyat, means people would be fighting for racial prejudices, not for the sake of deen, right? Or you get a word called ta'assub. Ta'assub means prejudice or qawmiyat, like how we said Sahaba Ikram, they fought in those battles. Why? Because they wanted to establish the haqq. But here you are fighting for your own personal agendas. Like how today we have the nation states. We have the nation states. People, each man for himself. Because I belong to this country, when this country is threatened, then I will retaliate. So even though the Muslims in another part of the world, they are being brutalized, they are being killed, they are being oppressed, got nothing to do with me because I am from this country. Yes, when my country comes under threat, then I will retaliate, then I will fight. So that's what we call in Arabic asabiyat or qawmiyat. And this was something which was very prevalent prior to the advent of Islam. I told you before the advent of Islam, the Arab tribes, they were very muta'assib. So even if their own people were on the wrong, but if they had a difference with somebody else, so whether their people were wrong or right, but because this person belonged to my tribe, he's from the Aus, or this person from the Khazraj. But just because he belongs to my tribe, we will stand up and we will fight for years. Wars will carry on for years, right? So here, David is speaking about this here. He's speaking about the wars that are based not upon haqq, but that are based upon asabiyat and qawmiyat. So here this word is qatlaha finnari. Both parties will be in the fire of Jahannam, right? So this is a great warning. And that's why we told you it cannot definitely refer to the Sahaba Ikram. Definitely not. It's not because I told you what is our belief with regards to Mashajarat Sahaba. That is, we say it is the of a mujtahid. And here also Nabi Sallallahu never mentioned any particular name to give the fitna. If we go, as we go, inshallah, forward and we discuss the different fitan, the different tests that will be said this ummah, you'll see Nabi Sallallahu gave a name. And through that name, it gives us a clue as to what the fitna was. But this one here also, there's no name also. So although there's no name, Nabi Sallallahu didn't give a name, but here it is clear that this was purely a nafsani war based on dunyawi agraz. So it could have happened. It could have happened before. Like, just like you remember the war that took place between, okay, you were still small that time, between Iran and Iraq, so many years. Was it to establish the haqq? Was it established to establish some thing of deen? No, not at all, right? So I was telling you, that's why we say it cannot refer to the Sahaba Ikram because Allah Ta'ala says with regards to them, radiyallahu anhum wa radu anhu. And then also Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, إِذَا ذُكِرَ أَصْحَابِي فَأَمْسِكُوا أي أَمْطَعْنِ الطَّعْنِ فِيهِمْ. That when my companions are mentioned, إِذَا ذُكِرَ أَصْحَابِي فَأَمْسِكُوا, then hold back your tongue. Right? Al-Ta'ni with regards to taunting them. That is why we don't say this one was wrong or this one was. And in another hadith comes, إِذَا رَأَيْتُمُ الَّذِينَ يَسُبُّونَ أَصْحَابِي فَقُولُوا لَعْنَةُ اللَّهِ عَلَى شَرِّكُمْ. When you see anybody verbally abusing my Sahaba Ikram, then say to them, La'natullah, may the curse of Allah Ta'ala be upon you because of your evil. So see Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in this hadith, he categorized abuse or saying bad things about the Sahaba Ikram as evil, you understood? Umar bin Abdul Aziz was also from the Umayyad Khulafa, and is often said to be the first Khalifa. He said, تلك دماء طهر الله أيدينا منها فلا نلوث ألسنتنا بها. That these differences that happened between the Sahaba Ikram, that is blood. طهر الله أيدينا. Allah Ta'ala that saved us. We were not there. We were not part of the test. Allah Ta'ala saved us. So why must we unnecessarily speak about it and get involved? And Allah Ta'ala saved you from some test. Allah Ta'ala kept you away from it. Why must you go out of your way to be part of it? So adopt the safe approach by saying that both wanted haqq, both wanted the truth. Whether it was Muawiyah and Ali, both were fighting to establish the truth. Whether it was Muawiyah and Aisha Siddiqa, both were wanted to establish the truth. It's interesting incident here that encapsulates and shows us our belief with regards to the Sahaba Ikram. Once Abdullah ibn Mubarak was a tabi, a great tabi, he was asked this question. He said, now often because of Muawiyah radiallahu anhu had the battle against Ali, and he also had the battle against Aisha Siddiqa, so people often, they revile him, etc. So he was asked, who's better? Is Muawiyah radiallahu ta'ala who better, or is Umar bin Abdul Aziz? Now Umar bin Abdul Aziz was not a Sahabi. He was about 4 or 5 first Khalifa of the Umayyad Khulafa, so he was not a Sahabi. So people, but he was a very righteous and great, a pious person. He's the one who often we say that he restored the Khilafat ala min Haji Nubuwa. And I was telling you about the scholar from Lebanon, Salabi. He's got a book on each of the Khulafa al-Arba. He's got a book also on Umar bin Abdul Aziz in English. Also, I mean, original is Arabic, but it has been translated into English. But very, very nice, very good reading. Highly rated amongst ulama. So because Umar bin Abdul Aziz, outwardly, he was like a pious person. He restored the Khilafat, how it was like in the time of Nabi Sallallahu or in the time of the Khulafa Arba. That's why we often say he's the first Khalifa. And on the other hand, you got Muawiyah, which people maybe think bad about him because he has those battles with regards to Hazrat Ali and Hazrat Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala. So somebody asked Abdullah ibn Mubarak, tell me now, who is better? Was it Muawiyah better, or was it Umar bin Abdul Aziz better? Was more virtuous? And obviously he thought he was going to say Umar bin Abdul Aziz was more virtuous because he restored the Khilafat and Muawiyah had these differences. So look at the answer, which very beautifully encapsulates our belief of the Ahlul Sunnah. لَخُبَارُ أَنْفِ فَرَسِ مُعَاوِيَةَ حِينَ غَزَا فِي رِكَابِ رَسُولٍ أَفْضَلُ مِنْ كَذَا وَكَذَا مِنْ Umar Abdul Aziz. He says, forget about Umar bin Abdul Aziz being better than Muawiyah. Here, as Muawiyah was a Sahabi, he says that when as Muawiyah was in battle with Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, then the dust that settled on the nostril, the dust that settled on the nostril of the horse of Muawiyah when he was in battle with Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that dust is even better than Umar bin Abdul Aziz. So that shows you what the benefit of the Suhbah of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was. That even if a person, whilst believing, he saw Rasulullah one time even, that puts him into the category of a Sahabi, and that makes him eligible for our utmost respect. That makes him eligible for our utmost respect. Then all of these warnings, إِذَا ذُكِّرَ أَصْحَابِي فَأَمْسِكُوا عَنِ الطَّعْنِ فِيهِمْ, when my companions are mentioned, فَأَمْسِكُوا عَنِ الطَّعْنِ فِيهِمْ, then do not say anything bad about them. Then here, لَخُبَارُ أَنْفِ فَرَسِ مُعَاوِيَةَ, that the dust on the nose of the horse of Muawiyah, it is better than Umar bin Abdul Aziz. So that is our position. We do not say anything negative. We do not say anything negative about the Sahaba Ikram. In recent history, because some people, they saying, when Nabi Sallallahu, that the story of Nabi Sallallahu, when he passed away, it took about 2 or 3 days before they buried him. It took about 2 or 3 days before they buried him because they were, so to say, concussed. They were not sure what was happening and what must be done. And then obviously they need to settle the issue of Khilafat. There's one scholar currently in our country, is within the country. So he made a statement. He said, see, Sahaba Ikram for 2 days, They were fighting for Khilafat, they were fighting, and the nuhusa, the bad luckness of this was the result that the people became murtad in Yemen. Na'udhu billah, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. This person is now visiting the country, you know I'm talking about, so I don't have to tell you. He's saying that this was the nuhusat of Sahaba Ikram. They left Dawat in Tabligh. What he's saying, he's trying to improve, he's trying to impress the importance of Dawat in Tabligh. What is this person trying to do? He's trying to impress the importance of Dawat in Tabligh. So he's saying, see, Sahaba Ikram, they left out Dawat in Tabligh for 2 days or 2.5 days, and the result of that, people became murtad, there was false prophets. So he's basically passing judgment over the Sahaba Ikram that they left out Dawat. So he's saying they were hankering after, listen, they were hankering after who must be the Khalifa, must the Ansar be the Khalifa, or must the Khalifa be from the Ansar or from the Quraysh? And they were hankering after Khilafat, and the bad luck, the nuhusat, the punishment was that they were punished, that people became murtad. So it's just in keeping in line with our understanding of the Sahaba Ikram. Making this type of statements, is it in keeping in line with what he's saying here, that this is our utmost respect we have for Sahaba Ikram, that even the dust on the horse of the nose of a Sahabi, a non-Sahabi, him and his entire life cannot even come close to it. But yet people are brave enough to make statements like this, to say that Sahaba Ikram had abandoned Dawat for 2 or 3 days, and the result of that, people in Yemen became, and this person is projecting the Sahaba Ikram in such a light as that they were hankering after Khilafat and they were abandoning the duty of Dawat in Tabligh. Anyway, so I told you our belief with regards to the Sahaba Ikram is that, like how you get, a mujtahid, you get the difference between Imam Shafi, you get the difference between Abu Hanifa. Although we'll say that we do not agree with Imam Shafi as a Hanafi, or we don't agree with Imam Malik as a Maliki, or we don't agree with Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, but we'll say we are as-sawab ma'a ihtimal al-khata. We are the correct because we got our proofs, and he is wrong with the possibility of being right. He is wrong with the possibility. There is a possibility that we are wrong is right, but we believe we are right. We have to believe we are right, because how can we practice on our mazhab if we believe no, Imam Shafi is right and we are wrong? Then why are we practicing the Hanafi mazhab? You understand what I'm saying? You can't be practicing the Hanafi mazhab if you believe that the Shafi's his mazhab is stronger than your mazhab, or his mazhab is on a haq. So you have to believe your mazhab is right. Otherwise, why are you practicing your mazhab? But at the same time, you open it. Maybe we are wrong. So this is we say. So because the opinion of Imam Shafi, the opinion of Imam Malik, it is based upon his sound ijtihad. It's based upon his sound. That's why it is correct for him to practice upon it. Like I told you, when you have to you do tafsir, etc. If somebody shoots from the hip, even though he gets it right, he's still wrong, because his opinion is not based upon sound reasoning. He doesn't have the necessary tools to extrapolate from the hadith. The same thing here, we're saying that for that Shafi to practice and for you to follow, because the mujtahid is qualified, although he might have made a mistake. The same thing here, we're saying that in the differences between the Sahaba Ikram, it's like what we say, a mujtahid and mukhti. What is he? A mujtahid and mukhti. He's a mujtahid that has made a mistake. So, but he's not answerable, he's not accountable, because that mistake is premised upon solid information. That mistake was made premised upon solid qualifications. So that is our belief with regards to the Sahaba Ikram, that they will not be answerable, even because they were sincere. Whatever happened, it was in the quest for the haqq. Okay, read the next hadith.
أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال ستكون فتنة صماء فلا استشرق اللسان فيها السيف.
Okay, if you look at this hadith yet, it's very similar to the previous hadith, right? The same sentiments are being expressed there. There's just such a fitna, such a test that will come on the ummah, which is not based upon haqq, and also it cannot be applied to the Sahaba Ikram. It is something which is based on the asabiyat, qawmiyat, where the Arabs will be fighting amongst themselves, right? In recent history, how many times did you see the Arabs are fighting among themselves? In recent history, do you see any of the Muslim armies fighting non-Muslims? In recent history, did you see any of the Muslim armies fighting Muslims? You saw the Muslim armies always keep fighting Muslims. You saw the Muslim armies always fighting Muslims. In the last 100 years, did you see any Muslims fighting, or maybe the last 50 years? Did you see Muslims fighting non-Muslims? The Muslim country fight? No. Wherever you saw the Muslim armies were engaged in war, they were fighting the Muslims. Did you see the Pakistani army fighting non-Muslims? They are bombing their own people. They're bombing the Afghanis. They're bombing their own people in their own country. So this is what we're speaking about. Is the Muslim armies today, they are only to fight there to suppress the Muslims. وعن أبي هريرة أن الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم قال ستكون فتنة صماء بكماء أمياء من أشرف إلى استشرفت له وإشراف اللسان فيها كوقوع السيف. رواه أبو داود. Right now, authority of Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala said, the Rasul said that soon there will be a fitna. Samma means summu means what? Dumb. So that's fitna will make you dumb. You won't know what to say. Bakma'u means deaf, dumb. You won't know, you can't hear the truth. Amya'u, you can't see the truth, right? So man ashrafa laha, however peeps towards it, istashrafathu, it will suck him, it will draw him in. وإشراف اللسان فيها, and engaging the tongue in it كوقوع السيف is just as bad as actively getting involved. So even verbally getting involved in the fitna, كوقوع السيف فيها is like actively getting involved in it. رواه Abu Dawud narrates this particular riwayat. I tell you, Samma'u means dumb, right? And then Samma'u, Bakma'u means deaf, right? And then Amya'u means blind. So people with regard to this fitna, they will be deaf, dumb, and blind. They won't be able to see what is the truth. There will be smoke and mirrors. So I'll tell you what it means. They will not be. لا يتميز الناس بين الحق وبالباطل. They won't even be able to make amr bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar. They won't even be able to see the importance of good deeds. And this fitna will be of such a nature that even if you expose yourself to it, it will suck you in. It will draw you in. And like I told you, you need to decrease your exposure to this fitna. No. So this is, I said, this is like the previous hadith. It has a very similar meaning of the previous hadith. That something that couldn't be in the time of Sahaba Ikram. Maybe it was something that happened after, or maybe it will still happen at a later stage. Okay. Next hadith, Bismillah.
وعن عبد الله بن عمر قال كنا النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ذكر في ذكرها حتى قال قائل وما فتنة الإخلاص قال هي ثم فتنة السرعات.
Okay, stop there. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وعن عبد الله بن عمر narrating authority of the Umar قال كنا قعودا إن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. Once we were sitting in the presence of Rasulullah فذكر الفتنة. Nabi Sallallahu was mentioning the different tests, the trials, the tribulations that will affect this ummah. فأكثر في ذكرها أكثر من, he was discussing at length, detailed, right? حتى ذكر فتنة الأحلاف, until he mentioned the fitna of ahlas. So this one fitna it was referred to as فتنة الأحلاف. فقال قائل ما فتنة الأحلاف. So one person asked Rasulullah, Ya Rasulullah, what is the fitna ahlas? You speak about fitna, what is this about? قال قال ما فتنة. قال هي هرب وحرب. Harab means to flee. هي هرب, it is freeing. وحرب, and it is snatching of the wealth. ثم فتنة السراء. Then he mentioned the fitna of السراء. دخنها من تحت قدمي رجل من أهل بيتي. Then Nabi Sallam said, دخنها. This fitna of السراء, دخنها. I thought dakh means it's murkiness, it's smoke. من تحت قدمي رجل. It will come from beneath the 2 feet of a person من أهل بيتي from my family. That is somebody from my family which is involved. يزعم أنه مني. He will claim he is from amongst me. وليس مني, but he's not from amongst me. وإنما أوليائي المتقون. That verily my friends are only the muttaqun. Subhanallah. This verse is, remember the same verse of what this verse makes you think about what verse? What does it remind you of this verse? Yes, that verse also, but the verse of remember of Noah alayhi salam, when his son didn't want to come with him on the ship and the waves came and destroyed him. So he said, Ya Rasul, Ya Allah, as Noah said, Allah, you said that you're going to protect my family, and here's my son, he's drowned, he's going to be drowned. Then Allah said that your family, إنه ليس من أهلك, إنه عمل غير صالح, إنه ليس من أهلك, إنه عمل. Maybe biologically he is your family, he's your son, he was born from you, but إنه ليس من أهلك. But in reality, he's not your family. عمله غير صالح. His actions are not pious. He doesn't have pious actions. And here also Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam speaks about this person. He speaks about, yeah, he says that this person here that will come from my family, right? But he's not actually my family, because my innama awliya'i al-muttaqun. The true family of mine are those people who fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Al-muttaqun, right? That my family is are those people who fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this shows you that even you got biological connections, whatever, but they're still going to help you. Remember, we done a hadith yesterday in in Aqidah al-Tahawiyah, that what he said when Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, when Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam called the people, when the verse was revealed, وَأَنْذِرْ عَشِيرَتَكَ الْأَقْرَبِينَ, that warn your close family people. Then what? Nabi sallam said, "O Fatima, O Safiya, Zawjatu Hamza, there's nothing I can do for you. لا أملك لك شيئا. You have to believe. You have to do your own actions. I can't help you." There's another hadith also that says, "Man batta bihi amaluhu, lam yusri' bihi nasabuhu." That person who his actions keeps him back, right? Lam yusri' bihi nasabuhu. His lineage won't take him forward. So if your actions are not up to scratch, doesn't mean because you come from the Talika family or you come from the Parel family, you come from the Junaid family, that doesn't take you to Jannah. Man batta bihi amaluhu lam yusri bihi nasabuhu. That person with actions keep him back, his lineage is not going to take him forward. So innama awliyaya al-muttaqun. So even though this person, he is from my family, he is from my family, but this is not going to help him. Or he's been excluded from, right? ثم يصطلح الناس على رجل كوارك على ضلع. When people will come to agreement, they will make sulah على رجل, to one person, كوارك على ضلع, like a وارك على ضلع means like a marble, or like a bearing upon a rubber. If you put a round thing on a rubber, it will never stay there. It will flow, it will roll away to stay. So the sunnah won't be so solid. ثم فتنة دهيماء. Then you get the fitna of دهيماء. What is this? لا تدع أحدا من هذه الأمة إلا لطمته لطما. The fitna of دهيماء is such a fitna that it will not leave anybody except that it will slap him, it will grab him. فإذا قيل انقضت تمادت. When you just sit down, the fitna is over, you see tamadat is becoming bigger. يصبح الرجل فيها مؤمنا ويمسي كافرا. That a person will wake up in the morning as a believer, but by the night time you will be kafir. حتى يصير الناس إلى فسطاطين. So it will become this bad that the people will become into two groups, right? فسطاط إيمان لا نفاق فيه. That group will be the believers who will have no nifaq. وفسطاط نفاق لا إيمان فيه. Then you get the group of the munafiqeen, they got no iman. فإذا كان ذلك, so when things degenerate to this level, where the fitna will be so great, then فانتظروا الدجال. So things has degenerated to such an extent, now there's nothing left. Only things now, Dajjal will come. So فانتظروا الدجال بيومه أو من غد. So the next day or after a few days, the Dajjal will come. Okay, see time he's up there. We'll switch over to the Hidayah Sharif. So we'll do the explanation. This hadith here that I read now is quite a bit of explanation. This ulama have identified the different fitan that has been discussed here. So there's quite a bit of explanation with regards to these fitnas, and this is very, very interesting. Very sad and interesting part in the issue of Islam, these different fitnas which the ulama have identified, but we'll discuss that on Monday, inshallah.